we've seen New College of Florida shift from being a premier liberal arts institution to being trash. When we've seen the Republican Party start to talk about reshaping or getting woke out of education, I myself didn't foresee what we're seeing right now. And if you've been under a rock, over the last 2 or 3 years, Governor Ron DeSantis has, through a roundabout way, started to reshape the way that education is handled. New College of Florida was a small liberal arts college in Florida with a national reputation for academic freedom and experimental pedagogy, meaning they would allow professors and their students to dibble and dabble into various thought processes, philosophies, ideologies, feelings, emotions, whatever you want to talk about. They were a liberal arts institution, so they were pretty liberal in what they allowed their faculty and students to dive into educationally. They were seeing their board get taken over by Governor Ron DeSantis. He started to put his political operatives into place. He started to put politicians and lobbyists and individuals that were going to carry certain political ideologies forward into positions of power and positions of influence at New College of Florida. Ultimately, they installed a president that was in that same vein, that viewed what was going on in New College of Florida as a problem. So what we saw at New College of Florida was after their board and their presidency got taken over by Republican operatives, they start to see faculty start to get suspended for pushing certain ideologies. We started to see curriculum changes. They made changes to ban anything that was quote unquote divisive. What they termed as divisive was very broad. And because of that, a lot of what attracted the New College of Florida students and faculty to the school was no longer there. So now New College of Florida starts to see a decline in enrollment. They start to see an exodus of staff, not only voluntarily, but some involuntarily, because they started to fire some individuals. And they started to install professors that would push certain political ideologies. We also seen New College of Florida's enrollment drop. We started to see donors that had been very, 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 very proud to give to this school stop wanting to give to this school because of the politicized nature of what was going on campus now. And when I say politicized nature, the Republican Party had taken over the school and basically started to push Republican ideology in the college setting. These individuals didn't want their money to be going towards that. They were supporting New College of Florida because they were proud to support a liberal arts institution where freedom of education and freedom of information was encouraged. Were there Republicans at New College of Florida? Yes, there were. Were there Democrats at New College of Florida? Yes, they were. Were there independents at New College of Florida? Yes, they were. Did they all agree all the time? No, they didn't. But that was the beauty of New College of Florida. They wanted those different thoughts of opinion to have a space to come together and hash all the bullshit out. But now what we have in New College of Florida after Republican takeover is a heavy Republican ideology being pushed at the school. And as I said, as a result, you've seen staff leaving. You've seen students not going there anymore. You've seen donors stop giving to the school. You've seen scandals start to plague the school now because of some of the BS that's going on by these political operatives that have been put in place by the GOP, the Republican Party. And unfortunately, like I said, this has led to a decline in enrollment, decline in donors. The reason why this is big, the decline in donors part is big, is because one of the big reasons that NUCA was able to operate and become one of the benchmark liberal institutions in America was because of their donors. They had a lot of donors that would give to the school so that the school would not have to rely too much on state funding or funding that came from sources that restricted what they could do, i.e. taking state funding from the government and saying, hey, I don't want you guys teaching all this woke stuff. So they didn't have to rely on state funding because they had plenty of donors coming in. Because of this takeover, those donors are starting to dry up. Those donors are saying, hey, I don't want you to use my money to push this wild, wacky logic that you guys are pushing under the guise of saying, hey, we're just trying to clean up education. We're just trying to restore balance and accountability. Now, restoring balance, it sounds good until you look what restoring balance and accountability actually looks like. When you're pushing out any, and I mean any type of differing ideology. If it's not a Republican aligned ideology, it's labeled as woke and divisive and is banned from the school. That's not accountability. That's not balance. That's not what that is. Some of them even say, hey, our new curriculum reflects the community values that we're seeing in America right now, and especially in the state of Florida. That's we're seeing a shift, and it's just reflective of what we're seing. Well, if that's true, why the fuck is enrollment down at New College of Florida? If it's supposed to be this, open door for ideology that reflects the community, then we should see an increase in enrollment, or at least a continued trend of where that enrollment has been. Because if we've seen a decline in enrollment from the current students and then an influx of students that say, hey, this is the ideology that I really want, and this is reflective of my community, I'm going to go to this school, they should have leveled out by now. But 3 years later, we just see continuing declines in enrollment at New College of Florida. So what community values are they reflecting? Because if there's not a community that's going there, then what community are they basing these values off of? You know, it's simple logic that I'm just putting out here. It's not something that happened overnight at New College of Florida. It's something that happened over the long term. And when looked at individually, one by one, none of the moves that took place to get New College of Florida to the point it's at now seemed that malicious. None of it seemed that nefarious. Oh, the governor's just appointing this BOT member. Oh, the governor's just appointing that board of governors member. Oh, the governor's just appointing that board of trustees member. Who hires the president of the university? Oh, the board of trustees, huh? And who appointed all those board of trustees members? The governor. And he didn't appoint people that had, a well-rounded reflection of what that community looked like. So they had ideologies or ideas from the various members of the community. No, he put in members that he knew for a bona fide fact would push the Republican ideologies. And in turn, they hired a president who's a DeSantis buddy to push more Republican logic and ideology. You see how the long game works, people? Too many people in America are focused only on right now and the today. So when you look at those singular moves and you're only focused on right now and today, it doesn't seem that bad. But when you remember what happened before, and before that, and before that, and before that, and you start to say, wait a minute, what the fuck? I know there's a trend going on here. There's something going on here. And I don't know what it is, but we're going to get to the bottom of this. But the reason I say that FAMU needs to pay attention to what has happened at New College of Florida is because we just started going through this at FAMU. Our board of trustees has been taken over time. That culminated in them putting a president in place that has not had any type of higher education experience whatsoever. But you know what she does have experience in? Republican. Oh, God. They put a Republican political consultant as the president of FAMU. And I just laid out what happened with New College of Florida and how they took the long route to essentially dry up any type of outside funding that was coming into the school to make the school rely on state funding to stay alive. If they're going to get state funding, then they got to do what the governor says. And they can't veer any type of way or that funding gets cut. If that funding gets cut, then the school gets closed. I told people in the group chat last year that FAMU was a part of the Republican long game. And that's because I was piecing together all the little moves I had been seeing over the years. And whenever you open your mouth, people never want to really jump on board, especially me. I've realized I'm the too soon guy. When I say something, people don't want to accept it at that point. But if I give them a little time, they accept it because they open their eyes and they get the reality. And I threw my humility shit out the window a long time ago because I used to be humble and be like, man, it's okay, it's okay. Nah, but I told your stupid ass.